Maseko. It is 9 o'clock, and I will just ask everybody to take a minute for meditation and for reflection before we start with our meeting. Thank you very much, colleagues. Today is the 27th of February in 2024, and it is the Standing Committee of Local Government. And then we'll be considering the comments on the Independent Municipal Authority Demarcation Bill, and also consider whether we are going to adopt the negotiating mandate on this particular bill. But before we start with our welcoming, I would just like to allow members an opportunity to introduce themselves, starting with me as Mbulelo Isaac Sileko, the chairperson of the Standing Committee on Local Government, and I will give the members an opportunity to introduce themselves as well.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, everyone. Kayla Murray, member of the committee.
Thank you very much, Chair. Good morning, everyone. My name is Matlodi Maseko.
John, I would like to allow the officials that is on the platform an opportunity to introduce themselves as well.
Morning, Chairperson. Johan, Procedural Officer.
Morning, Johan.
Morning, Chairperson. My name is Romeo Marsot, Legal Advisor to this committee. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm giving you officials an opportunity to introduce yourselves. Mfundo, Siraj, and Candace.
Good morning, Chairperson. Good morning, members. My name is Nomfundo Mshumbele. I'm a committee assistant.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, members. Candace Morris, ICT assistant.
Thank you.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, members. Siraj Hassan, ICT.
Thank you. I also see that member class has joined us. I will give an opportunity to member class to introduce himself.
Good day, everyone. Thank you, Chairperson. My name is Moses Class. Thank you.
Thank you very much, member class. John, is there any apologies from member Dagmore or other members or alternates that are standing in for him?
Chairperson, I did not receive any apologies.
Okay, no, it's fine then. Thank you very much. Colleagues, this is a virtual meeting, and by now you would know the rules of engagement. When you are not on the platform, please mute yourself, and there should not be any interjections when someone is speaking. If there's any questions of clarity, you are more than welcome to use the chat, and then you will definitely be recognized. And if you want to raise your hand, use the raise your hand icon on the chat, and then you'll be recognized. And I think now we are all familiar with the rules when it comes to the engagement on this particular platform. Joanne, and then we will go to the considerations of comments received on this particular bill. But before we do that, I would just like to appreciate and thank Member Maseko and Member Enriquez van der Westhuizen for standing in for me when we got the briefing on this bill, because I was not able to attend the meeting. And I know I am not happy. I need to say it from the onset and to everybody on the platform in how the National Council of Provinces has dealt with us as the Western Cape Provincial Parliament when it comes to this particular bill, as we have been given less or no time to have our own public participation, especially looking at all our 30 municipalities within the province that this particular bill will have an impact on. And nonetheless, we will have to continue with our work. And surely, when we conclude our meeting, we are going to have, we're going to express our views, and then we will let the National Council of Provinces know how we feel about, their processes that impact negatively on us as the Western Cape Provincial Parliament. So I will just give John an opportunity now to take us through and give us and share any information that we might need to know as the committee. Johan, over to you.
Yes, Chairperson. No, I have nothing new to add. I have distributed all the comments as we received it. There were just two additional ones that was submitted. The one from member van der Westhuizen, and then some additional comments, I think from yourself, which we can flight, and you can perhaps just take the members through that. But I do not have anything new to add, Chair. We have also not received any response yet from the NCOP on our letter, Chair.
No, thank you very much, Johan, for that. And members, you all received the comments from Johan, and I will also allow members an opportunity as well. If I believe that you have looked at the bill, and if there's any amendments that you would want to propose, that I would also allow you an opportunity to do that now. I see Member Maseko.
Thank you, Chair. Just a quick one, Johan. I looked at all that you have sent to us. One of the issues that I asked the department, Dr. Naidu specifically, was the cost attached to this. Did they send that, or is not in yet?
No, Chairperson, I have not received it yet. I will follow up on that quickly.
Okay. Sorry, Chair, that was one of the issues that, like, if we have to formulate our negotiating mandate, that we also had to add that, because if we are going to have the CEOs and blah, blah, and any other costs, like I explained in the meeting there, we need to get the cost attached to this bill to know the cost implication of that, and if there's a CEOs and we know about the budget cuts, the wage bills. And the response from Dr. Naidu was that no, the money comes from National Treasury, but National Treasury is the one that distribute the money, and as we speak now, there's not enough money for the wage bills and any other thing that has to be about service delivery, not demarcation that comes after 10 years. So it was a little bit concerned that we always get the bills that are referred to us, but there's no cost attached to those bills for us to take sober decisions in formulating our negotiation mandate and more in our final mandates. Thank you, Chair.
So, Johan, we're just going to follow up on that one, but we still have an opportunity because we'll be dealing with our negotiating one, and then subsequent to that, we'll have to deal with our final one. Hopefully, when we deal with our final, then we would have had some correspondence or reply from Cocta National. Is that all in order, Member Maseko, if we allow John to just follow up on your...
That is in order. If we can get to that, maybe we'll add in our negotiating mandate, because the final mandate is where in fact, we don't have control that much, but at least the negotiating mandate is something that we can contribute to, using the facts of the cost implication also to add to our voices.
Thank you. Is there any member that would want to say something on some of the member class? I see your hand.
Yeah, thank you, Chair, what I can support is that what Member Maseko had raised, that we have to first have a cost in order to finalize this thing, because we have to meet and have to organize a lot of functions before we will go through it. It will be assisting us if they first can finalize what Member Maseko has raised. Thank you.
Yeah, I hear you, Member Clark, and I think what we are trying to say is that if we have to deal with our negotiating mandate, we will have to raise our concerns or proposal of issues of clarity, and then it will go to the NCOP, and then when it comes back to us, when we deliberate on our final, and that their responses is actually going to contribute on whether we support our position has changed or our position remains the same. So not all is lost. And I think what Member Maseko is saying, what she has asked for, that which has not been answered to, it would be incorporated into our negotiating mandate, and then so that the members on the other side is aware about it. But Joanne, can we just go to there's a few, some of the clauses that I would just want some clarity on, or maybe propose that we will just some better writing, or maybe there are some clauses as well that that one would require clarity from the drafters of the bill. And I would just want us to first go to clause. Can you flag the bill for me, John, please? Can you share the bill for me, please?
We'll do quickly, Chair.
Can you just go to clause? Can you just go to 9 2E? And make it bigger for everybody to see. 9 2E. But yeah, I would just want to suggest, also maybe propose that it should also, that it is further suggested that this exclusion should also include persons who hold political party positions, whereby going beyond just official political office. Because we all know that in most instances that, especially if one would say it's an independent demarcation, then one would not want it to be to have people that have any political affiliation that is actually serving on this particular board. That I would propose that, maybe they should extend to it and, and include that people holding political position, I don't know whether that is doable.
Chair, it's doable, is our negotiating mandate.
Yeah, I'm in your hands there. And Advocate Masdorp, I'm also in your hands here, whether what I'm asking is doable, or is it just I'm asking too much. But I would just like us to extend that it should also include people who hold political party positions. Member Maseko?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, can we go to the section 7.2a, please? I just want to check something there, Johan. The 7.2a, the composition of the board must broadly reflect the composition of South African society and collectively. Okay. So collectively represent. Okay, it is the amendment state must broadly reflect the composition of the board, must broadly reflect composition of the. So I just want us to maybe put in that the qualification also for this has to be a must for the criteria that has to be used. So this, because if we put, I'm trying to think, you guys have to help me. So if we state that, I want something that will have to reflect that qualifications have to always remain a primary criteria, but I don't know how to structure it, Johan. Do you get what I mean?
Chairperson, yeah, no, I hear what Member Maseko say. Maybe Member my colleague Advocate Master can assist. So we just need to work in some wording to indicate that qualifications should be one of the main criteria, or should always be the main criteria.
Yeah. So on the collective represent a pool of knowledge concerning issues relevant to the relevant to a demarcation. In a way, structure is that it has to be a pool of knowledge being by the qualification, not knowledge, a general knowledge. I don't know if you get what I mean. Advocate Masdorp?
Through your chairperson.
Yes, Advocate.
I understand the intention that the member wants to have reflected in that provision. The way I read that provision, namely that the composition of the board must collectively represent a pool of knowledge, but not just any knowledge, Member Maseko, not just general knowledge. It's knowledge concerning demarcation. So I would want to believe the subtext in the words pool of knowledge would presuppose substantive knowledge about demarcation or town planning or such matters, as well as educational or academic qualification to underpin that, as well as experience in the field. That's what I would read in the phrase a pool of knowledge. And a pool of knowledge, of course, refers to the board as a whole, hence collectively represent that knowledge base. So in that collective, within that board, you will have people with knowledge, experience, academic qualifications, etc., on finance, on town planning, on demarcation, on local government matters, on governance, etc. So the pool of knowledge should be sufficiently generic, but relevant to the demarcation issue. That's what I read in that. And I don't think to split hairs or to unravel it to denote all manner of strands like academic, experience, gender, worldview, religion, sex. That is all subsumed in the phrase pool of knowledge. That is how I read it. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Advocate. Member Maseko, are you comfortable with that explanation that we don't have to specify that relevant means academia, it means experience, and it means, yeah. Are you comfortable with that explanation from Advocate?
So I am comfortable with that, Chair, and I'm I understood it the way Advocate Masdorp is saying,
Yeah.
but I always am cautious if it has to be the language that each and every person, I always play a little bit of it and the devil's advocate when I read on the bills to check that the interpretation is clear for each and every person that goes through that bill and doesn't have another interpretation. Advocate Masdorp it's my well-learned friend that will go beyond my understanding of the whatever that is in front of me. But I'm just being a public rep to think about a person that hasn't had the luxury of being next to Advocate Masdorp for almost 10 years to help me understand some of the things. You get what I mean? But in the nutshell, I'm comfortable with the way Advocate Masdorp puts it.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Is there another member who want to have a bite? Okay, John, can we just go to the appointment of board members, which is 10.1b. And I will just also advocate Masdorp beg for your indulgence on this one as well. But if one looks in terms of the composition of the selection panel, one would accept the Constitutional Court person. The majority of people on the panel would be regarded as politicians within this particular, and one would have want the whole process of the selection panel not to be influenced by a politician or by politicians. And maybe one would look at a proposal of maybe saying that when it comes to the selection panel, that they should actually, follow due processes and to select the members that would be on the selection panel. And that would be my proposal to that particular section, that we would just try to move away, of having the selection panel of the panel being, consisting of mostly, chairperson of committees, which is actually politician and not kind of staff. What is your take on that one, Advocate Masdorp?
Chairperson, I'm conflicted when you ask the question to me like that. What is my take? I can give you a chapter load of my take on this whole bill or on this particular issue. I will, however, out of prudence, restrict myself to legal issues. But if you ask me and you insist on your question, what is my take? I note your skepticism about the inclusion of politicians. It's very refreshing, actually, coming from a politician. But Chairperson, if it is that the sponsoring department wishes for this board to have this demographic and this profile, then that is their call. That is their policy and strategic vision they want to impose within the legislative regime. This is how I want my board to look like. And I am the minister. And after consulting with the president, I want my selection panel to consist of a judge, a minister, a chairperson of the Gender Equality Commission, chairperson of the Portfolio Committee, chairperson of the Select Committee, and chairperson of the National House. So as minister, this is my call. The point I'm making, Chairperson, it is within the remit of the minister to put a board out there as he or she wishes. If the committee feels that the composition, the demographic, the profile of the board should look differently, that it should rather consist of local government experts, academic, NGOs, members of civil society, and maybe a lawyer or two, because lawyers too need to be included in these profound matters, as opposed to politicians. That is the call that this committee can make. It can inform the policy direction and position of the minister. As it seems there's nothing untoward about it, but I note the refreshing skepticism from the politician in respect of politicians.
Yeah, thank you very much for that response. But for me, I don't know how the committee feels, but I would propose that maybe they should look at other alternatives when it comes to the selection of members of the panel. Maybe they should follow a due process as a parliament, where a candidate's nomination for candidates will be called and they'll be interviewed, and then it will be a very transparent and open process, so that there is no a doubt in terms of the panel, of the people that are all consisting of the panel. That would be my take. I don't know how the committee feels about it. Are they comfortable that we should actually just say we would propose that they reconsider another process of filling this particular panels, instead of having it as it is, because I am actually uneasy that it would consist of politicians. I don't know what is the take of the other members of the committee in terms of that. Member Murray?
Chair, the part that I'm getting stuck at is that it relates to the minister's discretion. And so going beyond who should be on this panel, do we need to then question whether it's solely the minister who determines this, whether there's maybe too much power vested in the minister when it comes to demarcation? Just some questions I'm raising, because I think everything we would like to happen thereafter would relate to the minister's power in this regard.
Yeah, I hear you. I think that's what I'm saying, that maybe we should just have that proposal and say that maybe they should reconsider a set criteria where the minister is given given powers to consult with the president and establish certain individuals, and of course, and try to make sure that it does not consist of only politicians, because one have to be very cognizant of the fact that in some of the instances, the chairpersons of different portfolios, with all due respect, that might not have the knowledge and experience that would actually assist in the work of the committee. We have seen with SOEs what has happened, and we must be very careful of us not going to the same same route, and making sure, and we have seen what has happened, and we would not be very cautious. Must be very cautious of giving certain powers to individuals, instead of allowing parliamentary processes to actually assist in the selection of individuals that can actually assist in the kind of work that the board should make and should fulfill. But I would strongly suggest that we really propose that an alternative process for the board may be followed. This process may follow a parliamentary selection process where nominated persons are interviewed by a committee of the National Assembly with the incorporation of public participation opportunities. It could also be mandated that the positions of the board be occupied by specific categories of persons or persons who hold specific qualifications as prerequisite requirements. That would be my proposal, colleagues, pertaining to this particular one. I see it as a second from Member Murray. Joan, do you have that one?
I do, Chairperson. It's all good.
Can we just go to clause 10.3? Yeah, it said the selection panel may determine its own procedure, including its decision-making procedure, which must be fair and transparent. And then the question that begs from me, Joan, in that one is that should there be a criteria that speaks to transparency, or does that reading of that particular 10.3 that may determine its own procedures, including its decision-making procedure, it must be fair and transparent? Is it sufficient? Is it understandable? Is it clear enough? What is regarded, or should there be a criteria that speaks to transparency and fairness? Advocate Masdo?
Chairperson, my view is that those are concepts which are fairly tried and tested, especially in case law.
Okay.
That's firstly. Secondly, that the purport of that clause is no different. Take note, I didn't say the words, the verbatim. The purport of that clause is no different to the clause that is contained in the members' code of conduct regarding the conduct committee or the appeals committee. It says the same thing, that it has a discretion to follow a procedure that is reasonable, fair, and just. No different, because those clauses, those words, those phrases are fairly tried and tested and trampled out in court proceedings. So if, for example, a selection panel adopts a procedure that is less than transparent, it will be very transparent to see that. And any person who wishes to counter or wishes to litigate on that ground will find ample court cases to support their view if there is a lack of transparency or a lack of fairness. And fairness includes many other concepts like reasonableness, openness, transparency, and alteram partem. It includes all of those established doctrines that we use when we have to consider the prudence of a fair or otherwise procedure. So as it stands, I don't have a concern. Nothing jumps at me that causes me to want to push back. If anything, like I said, the purport of 10 sub 3 is no different to what our own code of conduct says regarding conduct committees and appeals committees conduct. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Advocate. Colleagues, are you comfortable with that explanation in terms of Member Maseko?
Thank you very much. Chair, it's a little bit tricky because we've got a new board that will be established with the CEO, and there's no reference on the procedures for their transparency. So the bill is not going to be able to see what is the criteria regarding the transparency. So even if we can say we want to structure it in a way, to me, it's a little bit difficult if there's no any procedures in front of us or anything that we can reference to see that that is the procedure that will be transparent and clear. So it's either or. But again, I lean more on our legal advisor in what he's saying, Chair. And maybe next from me, it will be, if we can look at the next one, it will be the clause 10.8. Subsection
John?
1. It's still, yeah.
Chairperson, just for my own clarity, so then 10.3 we will not include in the mandate.
Yeah, 10.3 we are comfortable that.
And then.
Yeah, according to Member Maseko, she's leaning more toward Advocate Masdorp is saying.
Okay. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, but more so on the negotiating mandate also, Johan will have the comments about some of the concerns on the side.
That's correct. You can express just a concern about it. But
yeah,
the concern
we will not
on this
propose
side. An amendment to it. Okay.
Noted. Yeah. So the others just put them on the side as a concerns, and then others will appreciate it. Okay, I can continue, Chair.
Yeah, continue, Member Maseko.
Okay, so on the clause 10, it talks about if the filling of the board vacancy, that says the president have to choose the names, not from the list that was from the candidates that initially were not selected. I've got a problem with that because if you had the list that was there, and that from the list, there are people that didn't make it. It might be for one reason or another, and we'll find it might be it's more leaned on a negative side. That is why they didn't make it. So I prefer if we can recommend that the positions instead be re-advertised rather than the president just to fill in, taking from the pool of the names of persons or people that didn't make it initially for the board. Thank you, Chair.
That is what is the take from the committee that instead of the president filling vacancies based on a list that was submitted to him, that if there is a vacancy, that we should re-advertise for that particular vacancy to be filled.
Yeah.
Member Murray?
I like that. The other part of my brain just asks if there are any timelines that are associated to that, then how do we ensure that those timelines are being met so the board is not left in a compromised situation? And so the suggestion I'd have on that front is maybe, I wonder if we can make some sort of suggestion or inclusion to say that, these candidates must be properly vetted, either through a probity report or something to that effect, just to make sure that we really are getting the cream of the crop by the time it comes to selecting the board. And so that we don't waste time.
Remember, Ma'am, what would your timeline be in terms of proposal? Because our proposal is saying that vacancy must be re-advertised and must be filled within how many days would you say, Member Murray?
Okay, so the point isn't necessarily that to introduce a timeline. It's just to say that there will be sort of a timeline suggested by the minister.
Okay.
And my question is, how do we then ensure that we're getting quality candidates while adhering to the time frame? And that's why my suggestion would be if we can add something to that process that requests some sort of probity or some sort of vetting process. So we don't waste time shifting through CVs and people who aren't really up for the job.
Chair.
Member Maseko?
I think, Chair, we need to also look at the type of bodies this is. It's a responsibility of the demarcation. It's something that will happen. And I think there is somewhere in the bill that we're talking that sometimes it will be something that has to happen after about 10 years, that the demarcation, there is changes or there is. Now, I don't think the timeline when coming to this body it will be of essence. The issue is the procedure of making sure you've got the right people in the board. That is what is important. And when there is a vacancy, rather re-advertise to get the right candidate of the caliber that you want in that board. Because if you, like I said initially, if you go to the pool of people that didn't make it initially, it will be like you are going to put person that you were not comfortable with to put in when you were choosing the cream de la cream of the board members. Rather advertise. If they do apply again, the same that didn't make it, and for that time, the knowledge is more for them to come in as number one, two, so be it. But the procedure has to be clear and has to be easy and has to be not to be a challenge somewhere that this is what will work for the board to function effectively. So easy, simple, no complications. It's re-advertise the position because there is a vacancy and then it gets to be filled rather than just nominating. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, you got it, John?
Thank you, Chair. I've got it like that. We'll include that then.
Yeah. Members, is there anyone who want to say something? I saw your hand, member class. Ufunutini.
Yes, I did raise my hand. The point on my side was that it is good when not to give a president a chance to do after they see that they don't have a good client. It must be done again, same as has been done in order to complete the process. Otherwise, if we put points on every team, time frame and all that things, it will lead that to drag the process. But we believe that if there's 5 clients, if one drops, the second one will take and the third one. But what I say that it must reverse back to the process that should happen if there is no suitable candidate. That is my take.
Now, colleagues, we take that one, John. Member Maseko, your hand is up again.
That's a new one. I think Johannes got that one. I can continue, Chair?
Yes, continue.
Okay. Clause 16. There's no.
Can you just go to clause 16 quickly?
Yeah. Okay, there's no the limitation of the on how many committee meetings the board have to have at least per year. That leaves a blank check that there can be meetings of the meeting and there's a cost implication to that. So as a measure of control, I think there needs to be a guideline on the number of meetings that they meet at least to have that control measures, the financial control measures, because as a board, we know as a board, they go to a meeting, it's cost, there's cost implications for that. So I don't know how do we structure it, how is it structured on the other boards to have a maximum, then at least, what do they say? At least the one meeting per quarter.
That's what they do in local government.
Yeah, one
so
a quarter.
per quarter. So we need to have that in place so that there's a control measure of the sort.
Okay, Member Murray?
Yeah, I agree with that. Just added to that, how many are they allowed to miss?
Okay, yeah. On top of that, also maybe just to expand on clause 16, and I will just pose that question to Advocate Masdorp as well. If one reads that the board must establish the following committees, can one make a proposal that limits? Let me rather rephrase. Can we make a proposal that limits the board in the number of committees that they would want to establish? Or would we be out of our scope in that regard, looking at the cost implications, of course? That is just my question on clause 16.
Chairperson, it seems that the board is given the discretion in 16 sub 2 to establish committees as is necessary to perform its functions. And there doesn't seem to be, at least in 16.2, a control measure in the form of budget. So if it is that this committee feels that in as much as a board may need to have a committee to assist in the performance of its functions, that committee should only be established if there is budget to maintain and provide resources for the committee to perform its functions. If this committee feels that that would be a sufficiently prudent control measure, in other words, budget and resources, then one can certainly infuse that in there. So yeah, that's the point I'm making. One can certainly put it in there if a control measure is supposed to be budget. Then one can limit or moderate the committee's discretion when it comes to the establishment of committees. Also, sorry, the board's discretion.
Okay. No, thank you very much. No, I think that's what I was heading at, that at least since there is no limit in terms of how many committees should be established, that one would just want to put in a control measure. And I think you've just put it so nicely. And John, I think you've captured that one on clause 16.
Chairperson, if I may just finish my thought, just to maybe assist you or even Johan, one can then have clause 16 sub 2 read as follows. The board may, subject to budget and available resources, establish one or more committees. And then it stays, the rest stays like that. So that the imperative is, if the board says, you know what, we need another committee, then one of the members, informed by governance and financial prudence and management considerations, will have to say, I know we need this committee, but guys, do we have the resources and budget for this? So that we temper, we moderate the board's very elastic discretion that is given by 16.2. So my proposal is that we propose an amendment to clause 16.2 in order to accommodate the chairperson's proposal to read, the board may, subject to available budget and resources, establish one or more committees to assist the board. Thank you, Chair.
Chairperson?
Member Maseko, continue. I've recognized you.
Okay, thank you. Chair, I just wanted just a quick one. Advocate Masdot, can you help me and interpret for me the 16 sub section 4? It says when appointing members to a committee, the board is not restricted to members of the board, but at least one member of the committee must be a member of the board. And the criteria set out in section 9.2. Okay. Maybe if you can help me to interpret that, please, Advocate Masdot. It's a bit confusing to me.
Sure, Chairperson.
Continue, Advocate.
Thank you. Chairperson, of course, boards are by its nature comprising technical expertise to advise an authority. And ordinarily, a board has a variety of technocrats, if you like, because we need expertise, whether it's academics, whether it's experienced professionals, etc., to give the necessary advice. But of course, a board can't do everything, just as the House at WCPP can't go out as a House to public hearings. It establishes committees to do that. So he is the runner, is the foot soldier. Similarly, a committee of a board that deals with demarcation, it may be necessary, for example, for a committee to do a specific research, to do a specific in situ visit or a specific interrogation of a scenario that will inform its mandate as far as demarcation, etc., or determination of boundaries are concerned. So the board may then need to establish, within available budget and resources, a specific committee. But now what does 16.4 say? It says, you know what? Sometimes we're going to need technical people to do certain groundwork for us. Let's say we have a technical group of 5 people to go and do some research within the examples that I gave earlier. Then the board says, okay, these are the 5 people that are absolutely professionally qualified, experts, academics, authors of local government, etc., SALGA. These are experts and we need their expertise on a particular matter. It then establishes this committee. However, the board will also say, but you know what? Just for us to keep tabs on the mandate, tabs on the progress, we will want to have one of our own in that committee. So it says, so with that scenario in the background, 16.4 says, when appointing a committee, the board is not restricted to members of the board, because remember, committees must consist of a member of the board and support expertise. So it says the board is not restricted to members of the board, but at least one member of the committee must be a board member. So if we take my example, we've got a bunch of experts, let's say 4 or 5 people, including SALGA, local government experts. But in order for our continuity, for our continued alignment, for example, and to ensure that our mandate is executed, one of the members on the committee must at least be a board member. And that really is the intention behind 16.4. When appointing members to a committee, the board is not restricted to members of the board, but at least one of us must be, one of the committee members must be a board member. Thank you, Chair.
Clarity seeked, clarity given. Happy, Member Maseko?
I am happy, Chair. This is one clause that we have to, you want to put the consent because it's such a huge blank check when coming to the cost. The financial implication of this, of clause 16, it can be unbelievable the way it's structured. But thank you very much, Advocate Master.
Member Class, before you go.
Okay.
Member Class, are you still there? Okay. Continue, Member Maseko.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, let's go to clause 18. I want to see how does it read. It says a member of the board must perform function in good faith without fear, must disclose. Will it be somehow, Advocate Marsdorp, if I add to say if the members of the board disclose any political party affiliation as part of the disclosure requirement? Advocate Marsdorp.
Advocate.
Chairperson, I need to understand your question, if you don't mind. Can you just repeat that? I know that you read that provision, but what is your concern about it?
So I'm asking if we have to amend and say also the disclosure of the political party affiliation to it. Is it unconstitutional as one of the requirements? Disclosure requirements. For the board members.
Okay, let's just advocate what Member Maseko is trying to say. There is a lot of things that is by 18B that must disclose, that there's a lot of things, your relatives, business, associates, and now Member Maseko is asking, is it unconstitutional for us to put in something that says your party affiliation should also be disclosed? Is that correct, Member Maseko?
You nailed it, sir.
Thank you.
Chairperson, it is certainly something that will be frowned upon. We
can you sorry, Advocate myself. Just switch on the camera so that we can see how it will be frowned upon.
Chairperson, can you protect me from Member Maseko, please?
We are protected. Member Maseko, continue, Advocate.
Yeah, as I said, it is certainly something that will raise a bit of eyebrows. We understand, Chairperson, and we are, of course, not naive in this committee. We understand the role of a demarcation board, and we understand also why there is this 10-year span, because it covers two political terms. We understand these things. We are not naive. I read clause 18B with all the objectivity I can muster. And the question I ask myself is, what is sought to be achieved with that question? sorry, with that provision, a member of the board must disclose any personal or private interest that that member or a spouse or a partner has that may have a bearing on a matter before the board. Now, I'm not sure to what extent, if at all, the board will be seized with matters political or with matters that have a political bearing or undertone. So the relevance of a political persuasion, a political affiliation, will be questioned. We do know, Chairperson, our very proudly fabricated constitution has certain caveats, certain red flags when it comes to considering interests based on sex, gender, political, religion, culture, ethnic group, etc. Those are red flags whenever they are inserted. There's no concern with the insertion of something like a personal interest or a business interest, because people will be swayed and people will try and promote their own interests when it comes to a matter before them. To use a political affiliation as a measure, as a ground for someone to withdraw, I'm not sure whether that's going to hold. I'm not sure, Chairperson, whether that will even just scale the hurdles of constitutionality. Because, like I say, we frown on criteria that's leaning towards choice, leaning towards association. I'll leave it there for now, Chairperson, but if it is that the committee feels that because of the nature of this board and because of its mandate and because of the impact of decisions it may be able to make and the political ramifications of decisions that it will make, it will be necessary to ensure that decisions are made in the absence of political expediency, so that the declaration of political affiliation is necessary. If the committee feels along those lines, then I would suggest one can certainly insert it. As to whether it will reach the end of the line is another conversation. I can certainly understand why the member has a concern, has a bit of a reservation because of the nature and role of this board. But I cannot advise that it will survive constitutional scrutiny.
Thank you very much, Advocate. Member Murray.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, just a thought. I know that when it comes to the IEC officials, for example, there, and I don't have the wording at hand, but there are certain limitations when it comes to their political involvement. And I think maybe as a reference point, to understand how, if we wanted to include something around this, in our negotiating mandate, it might be helpful to see how they've worded it in the interests of impartiality, because that's ultimately what we're trying to achieve when talking about this. Thank you, Chair.
Member Maseko, are you comfortable with that explanation? I understand what you're getting at, and I'm also visualizing the working of this particular board. But if, for instance, if our proposal of a process of the panel, it consists of different individuals, then for sure, then we would not one would not have reservations, but you would appoint people not based on political affiliation, but based on expertise to avoid conflict of interest, of course. But now we don't even, but as the bill currently looks, one would always have the reservation of saying, you know, maybe when one, because we have seen the history of how when the board has to conduct its businesses in terms of redetermination of boundaries and municipalities. And like, for instance, if the board conceived, if we all know, because we are living in a political space, and then if all people that are dealing with a matter of a municipality under a particular government, and then all of those people are actually coming from another political affiliation, of course, that particular municipality will also be taken. Yeah, I understand what you're trying to get at, but I hear you. But I will give back to you, Member Maseko.
Thank you, Chair. I think Kayla captured it nicely that maybe we must look what the IC says in waiting for when they hire the IC what is it, manpower. There is a clause that they use, you cannot be, but I also agree with Advocate Masdor by following all of you what you are saying. That coming into my mind was this board, the way it comes from the nominations from different areas. But we are covered also with the issue of the expertise that is there. That maybe that will help, because usually the human nature, their craft, the expertise is sort of a personal craft that you won't sacrifice it for the political ideology. So it's just the morally, it is sort of, if there's something that is morally in the legal terms, it sort of covers us. So I agree with the frown of Advocate Masdor.
Okay, let's move on, John. I think it's one of our concerns that you are going to raise on that particular clause. And yeah, we're just going to and hear what the response will be from their side. Members, is there anyone who wants to move another one?
23, clause 23, Chair.
Okay, continue, Member Maseko.
Subsection 1. It talks about the municipality's capacity should be judged on its ability to execute functions in line with the ministers and MEC. Can we look at that? Maybe the proposal is as proposed by the author, that the authority should not have the power to conduct capacity assessments, as this would sort of usurps the executive power of national and provincial government.
Is everybody comfortable with that one? That the authority must not be given the responsibility to do assessments on terms of to conduct capacity assessments on local authorities. Because it's national and provincial have that capacity, have that responsibility as per the constitution, that maybe they should just ask for a report from the relevant ministers and relevant department.
Okay, if I can just add.
Yes, Member Marie.
I agree, and thank you, Chair, for recognizing me. I agree, and I guess my related question to that is, if they were to continue doing that, to what extent would it be a breach of the separation, or the spheres, sorry. To what extent would it be overreach? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So it's fine. We agree on that one. Next one.
The 23.2. On the authority must, in addition to the objectives listed in subsection 1, it talks about the special justice, special sustainability, efficiency. Yeah, it. I'm trying to find out where does it feature in this bill. This, to me, is just overboard and it needs the clarity. We need the clarity. I forgot to ask the department then about this. Where does it feature in? Why is it important to put the SPLUMA in this bill?
Yeah, ask just for clarity on that one. 23 subsection 2.
Yeah.
Is everybody happy with that one? That we ask for clarity on that clause?
Because it is no specific provisions for it, doesn't make sense.
Okay. Can you go to the next one?
Clause 24 and the time frame of 6 months prior to commencement and to inform the minister and Minister of Finance of a determination or redetermination should be extended maybe to 9 months to allow greater time for adequate public participation and consideration of appeals.
Which one is 24N?
I'm on. Sorry. I'm already on 32.4. Sorry. On 24 is the factors that has to be taken into account when determining or redetermining the municipal boundary. In talking to that it might undermine the local authorities who adopt policies contrary to that of the national government. I want to read it. N, Johan, if you can continue to go to N so that it can be in front. So it says the common geostatistical building blocks which facilitate and support a standard geographical hierarchy. So on that one, it's I'm saying that it needs to it outlines one of the factors to be taken into account when determining and redetermining the municipal boundary. So it always they need to be the national policy should not play a role in determining municipal boundaries, as this could result in undermining the local authorities. So in a way, it has to acknowledge the part that has to be played by another sphere of government, the local authority. So it's not clear there how do we relevant national development policies. So it excludes the policies and plans which might impact on the nature of local government and its boundaries. I don't know how to put it, Chair and Advocate Mastop and Johan.
So you feel that when one reads that clause, it's almost like another sphere is imposing itself on another.
Yeah, it's imposing itself to the local authority, and local authority also got the policy in place. So it mustn't impose. It has to be in a way that it acknowledges the local authority.
I hear you. Member Marie?
Sorry, I just want to make it a bit more simple in my mind. So in what cases will they need more time? And for what reasons? Like, I just want to be clear in that because there's the mention of 9 months.
Okay, we'll get there.
We are not there yet.
Continue. So I'm still on 24. We'll go to 32.
Going ahead of the game. Sorry.
You're on 24.
Now, I think, Member Maseko, we should just raise that proposal that of national policy. Maybe we can get clarity whether it's when they consider the determination or redetermination of factors to be taken into account, whether if one applies national policies, is that perceived as encroaching on another sphere, or is it the norm in terms of their processes? And then I think that Joanne, you just need to get clarity on that particular clause, and also and the proposal that if it's like that, then it would be unfair that national policies would be used to determine. But it could be an explanation as to why one would want to use 24N, that maybe we just need to get a clarity. I don't know whether Advocate Masdorp will be able to share some light in terms of that particular clause 24N, relevant national development policies and plans that might impact on the nature of local government and its boundaries.
Chair, maybe before Advocate Masdorp, maybe we need to just put it as a concern of the way it's structured. It sort of sound like it's undermining the local authority, so that maybe when they read it, they can fix it. I don't know.
Yeah,
just a concern of that.
Yeah, John. Yeah, let's just put it as a concern that, and maybe a question there: is it can one regard it as undermining another sphere, or or maybe can one regard it as another sphere imposing itself on another sphere? Just that concern. So then I won't ask Advocate Masdorp to speak on that one. Okay. I will protect him from Member Maseko.
Okay, let's go to 32. Clause 32.
Thank you for that, Chairperson, but could I maybe just volunteer the following?
Yes, sir.
If I read that clause, it says, take note, the authority is the one that, on the advice of a board, will do demarcations or redeterminations, etc. That will draw boundaries. Let's call it with that. And 24 says, and as we know, Chairperson, local government straddles. So there are a number of factors that impact on the decisions that the authority will make, and the authority's decisions will impact on local governments and on boundaries and service delivery scopes. So what does 24 say? It says, in order to obtain what is set out in 23, the authority must take certain things into account when it wants to redetermine or determine a boundary. Take note, this is a national authority. It's not a beginning office in Leeugamka that decides things. This is a national independent demarcation authority. And it must consider a number of things: commuting, transport networks, amenities, recreational facilities, commercial linkages, etc. One of the things that this national authority must consider, must take into account, is, remember, we, for example, as a country, we have a national development plan which seeks to project the reality of South Africa in 30 or 50 years' time. And that national development plan takes into consideration the development of the country as a whole in terms of infrastructure, development, bridges, dams, schools, clinics, hospital. It is a national development plan. But now the authority, who will be authorized by this bill, by this act eventually, to draw lines that will separate communities potentially, separate commercial activity potentially. If they want to start drawing lines, one of the things they must consider is national development policies, because national development policies already may impact on local government boundaries, already, as we speak now, the National Development Plan potentially already impact on local government issues and on local government boundaries, because we are projecting 30 to 50 years going forward. So the authority shouldn't just in some dark office room corner draw lines. No, 24 says, wait a bit, before you start drawing your lines, redetermining people's transport, commute, directions at, etc., consider national policies and plans. In other words, national authority, before you start dealing with people's boundaries and local government boundaries, national authority, consider national plans, because those plans already may impact on local government issues. I do not read in clause 24N a interference, a straddle into the turf, the jurisdiction of local government. I do not read it in there. What it says is, before you start drawing lines, just consider the national plans, please, because the plans may already impact on local government as it stands. We now, as an authority, we come, and before we draw lines, let's just look at what the national plans say, because it may not, we may now start drawing lines in contradiction to what the national plan or policies envisage. It doesn't speak about interfering in local government matters. Thank you, Chair.
Member Maseko, I see your hand is up.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I do understand the interpretation of that clause, but when you look, and I think maybe that's where the special planning also plays an important role, and also the make of because some of the towns, they are not created through the special planning. It's the communities, they create their own special planning. And that is not what is in national government sometimes. And I'll make an example. We went to the by-elections in Ward 101 in the city. There is a school where there was a VD. Across the street, the community around there couldn't vote there. They had to travel about 8 kilometers to go and vote. And the demarcation did that. It had nothing to do with that they are not liked that much. That is why I raised that, because of consultation with the local authority. It will, in a way, help that some things like that don't happen, because that community around there that were voting all the years on their school, they said they will never vote again. They don't have to spend their petrol and their time moving 7 kilometers while they've been voting for years just across the street without using their cars. That is one of the challenges in decision-making when coming to national versus local authority. But the bill itself, with the explanation of Advocate Masdal, theoretically perfect. There's nothing wrong with that clause, but practically, as we see day-to-day things happening, sometimes it is a challenge, Chair. Thank you very much.
So would you still propose that we raise it as a concern, even though we were able, Advocate Masdal was able
No,
to
we can remove it. I don't have a problem with that.
Okay, no, I'm happy. Okay, thank you very much. You are sufficiently covered by Advocate. Can we go to the next one, the clause that you mentioned, clause 32, subsection 4B?
Yes, Chair. If we can give you a chance to go to 32, as Kayla already asked the question. So on 4B, it says 32, 4B, it says the authority Where is it? Okay. It said a determination or determination of a municipal boundary referred to in subsection 2B will take, where's the B? Not affected the representation of the voters. What am I talking about here? So the Electoral Commission within 60 days after having received the particulars referred to in subsection 1 must be known. No. Did I get it wrong? I think I got it wrong with the time frames. Chair, let me get back to read it. One
No,
can
it's for
come.
B. It's for B, where it talks about it talks about a time frame of 6 months prior to commencement.
Yeah.
And one would want to extend it.
Okay. So sorry about that. So there is for us to insert the time frames to because the 32(4)(c) it talks about the Minister of Finance may in external, including those referred to in decide on a different or shorter period than the period referred to in paragraphs A and B, of which the A talks okay, let me read it, then it will make sense. It says, a determination or redetermination of municipal boundary referred to in a subsection 2B will take effect on the date of commencement of the municipal financial year, following the date of publication of the notice affecting such determination or redetermination. And then the B says the authority must at least 9 months prior to the commencement of the municipal financial year in which a determination or redetermination of a municipal boundary is to take effect, inform the minister and the Minister of Finance of such determination or redetermination. So my proposal is the time frame of 6 months prior to commencement to inform the Minister and Minister of Finance of a determination or a determination should be extended to 9 months. And you see on that 60 days. And then furthermore, clause 324C should only permit the Minister of Finance to shorten the time frame from 9 months to a minimum of 6 months. Does it make sense, Johan? Hello?
Oh, Member Maseko, not really.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So let me say, so I'm suggesting that the time frame of 6 months prior to commencement to inform the Minister and Minister of Finance of a determination or redetermination should be extended to 9 months to allow greater time for adequate public participation and consideration for appeals. No?
Okay. Member Maseko, just the first 6 months that you are reading, which clause and subclause is it in?
John, sorry, John. You see, the one that you send to municipalities, the bill that you send to municipalities talks about 6 months, because the one I have in front of me talks about 6 months, but the one that you have shared, it seems like has been updated to 9 months.
Okay, it's been updated to that. That is why I was saying, let me read my notes because I've got that in front of me.
Because I also have the same bill that talks about 6 months.
6 months. Because the one that's on the screen reads the authority must at least 9 months prior to commencement of the municipal financial year in which redetermination. So the 9 months is already included.
Yeah, the 9 months is already there. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So that
then
one we
it's
can-
okay, because in our bill, the bill that we have in front of me, it talks about 6 months. But now that you have seemed like it's been updated,
It's
so
been
then
updated.
so we remember
Okay.
myself will be fine. Then we
Okay.
let it be, and then we will go to what Member Maseko said in section 32, subsection 4C, that talks about
The Minister of Finance, no,
and
no,
Member
no.
Maseko, it does not want the sentence that including those referred
Yeah.
to in section 87 of the Municipal Structures Act, but it should
Mm.
only be the Minister of Finance
Yeah,
and exclude those referred.
yeah.
Do you get it, John?
Yeah, okay, Chair, so you want to omit
We want to omit those referred to in section 87 of the Municipal Structures Act,
okay.
but it should just be the minister that is the proposal.
Yeah, because that will shorten the time to 6 months.
Okay, Chair, I've got it.
Okay, colleagues, is there another one? John, can we just go to the last one from my side? Clause 38, subsection 2. No, but I think mine is the same as previously. Like, one, I'm always about processes, and I would propose that maybe we just start a more comprehensive appointment and interview procedure be preferable instead of what is written there, John. That's just my take. I don't know how the feeling of the committee is.
I agree with you, Chair.
Because the minister is empowered to draw up a list of names for the president to appoint from in response to a public call for nomination. And if one looks at the kind of work that the authority needs to fulfill, I would be more comfortable that, a more vigorous, comprehensive interview procedure, process will be followed. I would propose that. That would be my proposal in that regard, and then that on that particular clause, John. And Member Maseko has agreed with me.
Okay,
So
Chair,
that's it from my side. John, do you have it?
yeah, so it's just to that a more comprehensive appointment and interview procedure
be preferable.
be preferable. Okay. Thanks,
That's
Chair.
it from my side, and seconded by Member Maseko. So, Member Class, is there anything from your side that you want to add? Going once, twice, gone. Member Marie?
Sorry, Chair, struggling with my unmute. No, I'm totally happy. Thank you.
You're perfectly happy. Member Maseko, are you perfectly happy as well?
Always happy, Chair, and thanks for protecting me.
You're welcome. Advocate, are you comfortable?
I'm covered, Chairperson. Thanks so much.
Okay, thank you. John, I think I think that has been our input from the side of the committee. And now yes, John?
Okay, no, Chair, I don't want to jump the gun now. I know Member van der Westhuizen submitted 2 proposals flowing from the meeting that he attended on your behalf.
Yes. Can you fly those 2 and see?
Okay, Chairperson, just give me 2 minutes to try and get it ready. I just want to unshare this one quickly. Okay, Chair, this.
Yeah, you can almost some of flight the ones that we got from the other stakeholders as well, John.
Okay, Chair, I'll do that.
So that everybody's got an idea of what comments we received from the other parties.
Chairperson, these are the ones from Mr. Member van der Westhuizen. Are they visible?
Yeah, it is on my side. And I think that the first one is just to make it clear that a member of the board appointed for a term not exceeding 5 years and 6 months, calculated from the date of appointment by the president, and such term must expire on a date not later than 5 years and 6 months after the last election date for municipal council, as published in the Government Gazette at the time of appointment. Now it's just to put emphasis that it should be no more than 6 months after your term of council. Is everybody comfortable with that one?
Chair, okay. I'm trying to understand it's unique for the 6 months. Because when you put it, say, a member of the board is appointed for a term not exceeding 5 years and 6 months, calculated. I understand the intention, but now it becomes the term is 5 years and 6 months. But the 6 months is for when the new board comes in now. What is the rationale behind the 6 months? Just to capture that. I can't remember, Johan, that what was the rationale behind this, the 6 months, which is quite unique.
Yeah. Chairperson, just briefly, the clause reads, is appointed for the term not exceeding 5 years. Member van der Westhuizen proposed and to include and 6 months. And then the clause carries on reading, and such term, then he insert must expire on the date not later than 5 years and 6 months. Then after the last, after the commencement, then he includes the rest of the pieces in red. And I think his argument was with regard to the municipal financial year, that he would suggest that it's 6 months, and also after a local government election, by the time councillors are sworn in and the council has their first meeting, there's always the time lapse, and that's why he proposed the inclusion of 6 months. If I can remember correctly his questions in this regard.
Member Maseko, I see your hand is raised.
Chair, I don't agree with that addition to, I think the 5 months for the 5 years term, it's enough. We don't have to add another 6 months, and it's like I said, that this authority, the board for this, it's work, it's unique, and there is administrative portion of it that I think the 5 years will make sense. So 5 years, it's enough. No 6 months attached.
Now, can I just kindly read? Can I read how it's written in terms of clauses 8, subsection 1A? A member of the board is appointed for a term not exceeding 5 years, calculated from the date of appointment by the president, and such term may not exceed a period of 6 months after the commencement of the term of the next municipal council. I think what he's trying to bring in now is to bring, okay, your term expires in 5 years, and then you are given a grace period of 6 months. after the commencement of another term, like you will have it in municipal, in local authorities, that a municipal manager will be appointed for a full 5 years, and then and for an extension of a year after a term. So I think that is trying to bring that principle into this one as well. Just to give a little bit of a background, but I'm in the hands of the members.
Yeah, Chair, we do understand. So your term as the member is for 5 years, and the government makes it their responsibility to make sure that the procedures are in place for the next term, for another five-year term, for another members to come in after the 5 years. So always the procedures are there, that how reaction that has to be taken to make sure that you don't have another unnecessary 6 months. 5 years is enough, and then the board has to do it accordingly to make sure that it's new. Okay. Or the term is extended for another 5 years. The 6 months, it will be unnecessarily abused. We are not running the local, this board is not going to run the local government councils. It's the board for the demarcation. So 5 years is enough. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, I hear you, Member Maseko. The 6 months is not, we don't have appetite for that. We work on 5. Member Marie, are you in favor of that proposal, that we omit the 6 months?
Yes, Chair, I agree. I think about the democratic system, and we don't get an extra 6 months after the election to tie up loose ends. It ends when it ends.
Egorio, sister, Egorio. No, it's clear, colleagues. I hear you. Okay, so we don't want the 6 months on the 5 jaar, sonder die 5 jaar dan soek ons niks verder. So we are comfortable with that one. Can you go to the next proposal as well?
Chairperson, this is about clause 17.3. I think he's just it's regarding the rewording, and maybe his proposal is just that it maybe should be reworded. He didn't provide a proposal on what the rewording should be.
Yeah, now we'll forward it to the relevant people, maybe for rewording, because it does not give suggestion as to what needs to be reworded, but if he did not give proposal, I would propose that we disregard the second proposal, because we don't have an indication of what needs to be reworded. And
noted, Chair.
Is everybody in favor of that?
Chair, I'm in agreement.
Okay, thank you very much, Johan. Can you just share the other comments that you received so that the members can also look at it? This was forwarded to members as well, no, Johan? Johan, can you hear me?
Apologies, Chair, mute. Let me open the one that I've circulated to all the members. This is just the comments from the department and Salga that I've got in here. Chair, just give me 2 minutes.
Okay, because I just want the members to verify what you have is what they were given, so that there is no discrepancies.
Is that it? Chairperson?
Yes, Jan?
Okay, these are all the comments that we received and which was distributed to all the members.
Members, are you familiar with the content of these comments that Johan is sharing on the screen? Member is okay. Member Maseko, are you familiar with that? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Scroll down, Johan, so that we're not going to read everything because the members were given an opportunity to go through it and they were given in advance.
Okay.
Yeah. But I just want us to verify the content that is the same that it was shared with the members. So there's only 2 municipalities that commented, Johan.
That's correct, Chair.
And they are talking about the time constraints that were given to them as well.
That was one of the main concerns raised, Chair. But these are the comments, and then obviously the comments from the department and from Salga. It was attached separately to this.
Yeah, and the attachment was shared with the members as well, in both of the department as well as with Salga.
That's correct, Chair.
No, okay, thank you very much, Johan. I got those 2 attachments as well. Member Maseko, is there anything that you wanted to say?
Yeah, I said the issue of the times, it's a very serious concern when coming to the bills, and especially like this. And I'm looking at the municipalities not sending their comments about that, is the issue of the time. And we asked also in the meeting that always we need to be given, especially if it's like this, the public hearings that they had, they need to give us the information. And if there are changes that are being reflected on the bill, like now we've got a different one from what Johan have there, it needs to be highlighted to us because it comes time of us reading and only to find that you read the document and that is not the one now, there is another one. And also it makes these bills, when the enough time is there for the people, especially the municipalities, to be part of this process, to have an understanding of what is coming so that they can comment accordingly. So the issue of the time frames, Johan, in our consent, we have to really, really emphasize on that they mustn't just open a tab of the bills and the bills that can affect another sphere of government, the local government, and then they don't have enough time to comment, so that when we have our negotiating mandate also we can really, really be the voice of the masses out there. Thank you, Chair.
Member Marie?
Chair, I agree. And I just want to add to that as a suggestion that when we do our negotiating mandate, we break it up into our procedural and substantive concerns, if any, and under procedural, we list this issue of, not having enough time according to the normal 6-week cycle to ensure meaningful public participation. Thank you.
Okay. You have it, John?
Thank you, Chair. I will compile the negotiating mandate then with the new additions that was raised now this morning in the meeting. And then, Chair, I'll look for a slot somewhere in the next week where we can just then formally adopt the negotiating mandate, Chair.
Okay. Yeah. Is everybody in favor of that? Yeah, I see thumbs up from both the members. And what else is there for us to do, John?
Chairperson, no, nothing else. Besides the meeting that I'm going to try and schedule to adopt the negotiating mandate, we will see each other as a committee then again when we consider the budget vote 14 for local government.
You're there now.
I'm there, Chair, and then there will be maybe a few documents that we'll just need to adopt during that meeting.
Yeah. Advocate Masdorp, are you comfortable?
All good, Chair. Thank you so much.
Okay. Then, colleagues, then from my side, to the honorable members, thank you very much for your input and comments, and to Advocate Masdorp for your guidance, highly appreciated. And to Nomfundo, Johan, always, working behind the scenes, you are highly appreciated. It's always a pleasure to work with you guys. And then from my side, there's nothing much to say, but except to say I'm eternally grateful to be in the presence of such great individuals. And meeting adjourned. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, Chair. Thank you,
Thank you to
colleagues.
everyone.
Have a fantastic day.
Thank
Goodbye.
you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Mr. Masdorp. Oh, he's gone. Okay, I can leave.